It's a little after 2, so we're going to start. I get to explain myself first on slates and boxes and kind of teach you a little bit so you won't leave here half crazy. Part. See. The question with the spirit boxes that you got today, the spirit boxes, there are papers and different things in the boxes. And what this does is spirit is going to write on the papers. And what you're doing is you're training it, and you usually just put them in your you put them in your meditative space, your spiritual space, where you're going to meditate, where you're going to be quiet. And the box works because it puts it in a darkened space. Darkened space so spirit can work. Back in the day, it was more like we had baskets, we covered them with black cloth, and spirit would work and write inside the box. This one I've had for a while, but you can notice that there are like little small writings on. I wanted to write bigger, but they're writing small stuff on there. There's a number A, and there's stuff on there, and there's little lines, and there different things that they're drawing on the papers. So, and what you're doing is you're looking at it, because sometimes they'll start off real small. They'll start off like you'll see a word, or you'll see something being written on the paper. You'd like a full card just totally designed up. Like we were just talking about Hoyt, and he used to get these cards, and you'd get the card and it was beautiful pictures of people and names and all kinds of stuff on the card. What you're trying to do is get spirit to work in that direction for you. Like this one has different markings on it, but it does has like a word being written on it. So what you're doing is you leave it in the box, and then every once in a while you just go check the box. Unless you hear the pencils moving. If you hear things moving in the box, it means they're writing. If you have noise in the box, they're writing.
So you don't hold it, you just keep it in your space, basically.
Keep it in your space. I usually like when I'm meditating, I put my hands on it, and I hold it when I'm meditating. But I keep it in my spiritual space because I don't want to put it somewhere where it's not in my spiritual space. Like when I'm not holding on to it or meditating with it, I'll put it underneath my chair or wherever I meditate, and I'll leave it there. I leave it there. So it's constantly in my spiritual space. I don't cart it around because I have one that if I go to certain seance events, I take it with me. I have it in a bag and I set it next to me. So the energy will keep working while I'm in some kind of spiritual event, like I'm in a seance or a demonstration. I'll take it with me. So it's sitting with me. It's like if you go to a spiritual mediumship class and you're in a class, you just have it in a little bag, put it next to your chair, and you just have it in the room with you. Because you want it to soak up as much spiritual energy as you can through spiritual events. So, and then I play music in my seance room. I play spiritual music in my seance room. So the music continually plays in that room. So the music radiates within the walls. So the spaces will take on the energy of whatever you place into it. So if you're placing weird music and stuff into the space, that the energy will take that on. It's what you're placing into the space. That's why your space should be separate from where you do your work. It should be separate. Like if you're watching television, that should not be your seance room. You shouldn't be somewhere else in your house where you like sleeping. Like people say, well, I can't meditate, I can't get in contact with spirit because I try to meditate and I fall asleep. I said, where are you? Oh, I'm laying in bed. Well, you're in a space where you're going to go to sleep. Your bedroom is a sleep space. That's where you're sleeping. So trying to meditate in bed is probably counterproductive. So you want to meditate, try to sit. If you're falling asleep, sit up. Sit up. Sit up and be part of that. So, but the boxes are the boxes I've gotten. So You can add whatever you want to the boxes once you get them home. I put crayons, I put pencils, different things in the boxes. But you can put whatever you want in the boxes. Bigger piece of paper, different piece of paper, doesn't matter. Yes.
How can, if the box is closed, how can their pencils stand up for them to write with it?
Well, Spirit has a way of doing that, but it's like if I, where's my pencil? Now this pencil is too high for the box to close. But Spirit will take the pencil still writing on the thing, it's still coloring, it's still moving. So you're still going to see a mark, even though the pencil's not straight up. It'll just tip a little bit and move through the thing. That's all. Spirit can manifest whatever they want with a pencil. They can do whatever they want with it. They can, without the pencil, they can mark the thing. So it doesn't really, they don't really need the pencil, but even the crayons are kind of bigger than the box. They're still going to mark, as they move it, they're going to make that pencil, they're going to make the color on there anyway. It doesn't matter. They don't have to lift it up to make that movement. But what you're listening for is when you're meditating and you're quiet and all of a sudden you're holding onto the box and the box is doing this. And you hear all that in there moving, you go, oh, they're writing, oh, they're making noises. I like hearing that. I like hearing the noises in the box. And they will work on the box even when you are not in the room. That's why I just leave the box in my spiritual space. I don't move it. I don't move it. Like we were talking about Gail Hicks, the Gail Hicks up in Georgia. Every time I knew her, she would have her little spirit box. She'd have a little bag, and she'd carry it with her. She'd speak at the church, it would come with her. She'd do a workshop, it would come with her. It would always with her in any spiritual event. And that's what I learned from her and some other, and from Hoyt. Take the box with you. If you're learning to do this and wanting it to really work, take it with you. Take it with you, especially if you go to a large spiritual event. It just works that way. Slates, I put this back over here. Slates are, this is one from the early 1800s. It's got chalk in it. It's a smaller slate. It's actually used for classrooms. But it actually works. It works. You just close it with the chalk in there, the smaller piece of chalk. Spirit will move the chalk around and write in the slate. This one's actually from Chesterfield. This is from the early 1900s. So this one is very much, it's got chalk, it's got all hooked together. And I've had this one for quite some time. It had gifted to me after the medium died.
Where can we get those?
You can buy slates in the store. There's a whole slate kit in the store. It's for $25. You can buy the whole slate kit in the store, but they're newer. I just like these because they're old. I like old. I like it because it's got energy in it. Because it's got energy in it. Because these slates actually belong to Clifford Bias from Chesterfield.
Chesterfield, where? Virginia?
Chesterfield, Ohio.
Ohio?
Yeah.
Indiana?
No, it's Indiana.
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 Oh, okay.
So, but Chesterfield's a large spiritualist camp up in that area. So, because you can go online, look up Chesterfield, and they'll have all these classes you can take online, and all this stuff is part of their whole organization. So, but Clifford was there. He was a good physical medium, and he would do slates. So I got gifted his slates. But slates are another one that you just, like your box, you sit, and you hold on to it, and you just sit and put energy into the slate. When we do seances and do stuff, remember, you don't want to have the slates in your hand have, you're trying to do table tipping over here, and you've got trumpet over here, you got a phone over here, you're trying to get that to ring, and you got bells over here, trying to get spirit to ring the bells, and you got everything in the room, because you're scattering the energy. If you're going to do slates, do slates. If you're going to do trumpet, do trumpet. If you're going to do other things, do that. But don't mix it, because spirit has to separate their energy. They're trying to ring the bell, they're trying to move the trumpet, they're trying to move the table, they're trying to move the turn the lights on, they're trying you're scattered. So focus your intent. You don't have to give it a lot of time. 5-10 minutes of direct time. 5-10 minutes of direct time. And then just put them aside, put them in your spiritual space, but just give it energy. Give it energy. It's all psychometry, people. Psychometry. The more energy I set into the slates, every single day, I just sit for a moment with them, and then the slates will take on the energy that I placed into it. These just happen to have Clifford's in it, and it has my energy into it. So we have two energies. But as long as you know where the slates have come from, you don't have to clear them. I didn't clear these slates. They're from Clifford Bias. I know his energy. I know what he did. So I didn't do smudge and sage them. I left his energy on them. But if you get something you don't know the provenance of the slates, you don't know where they came from, then you should probably sage them or do some kind of energy work to clear them. Like the slates they have in the store. Wonderful slates. Question is, you don't know who made them. You don't know if that person was having a bad day. They got divorced, their dog died, they wrecked their car. But they were in the factory making your slates. So you don't know where the energy was of those slates, but I know the provenance of these. The boxes, you kind of know the provenance of those. I've cleared those boxes, I put the stuff in it, you've got my energy on them. Nobody else is on them but mine until you grab them, unless somebody here is a little weird and they start touching all of them. Other than that, you only got mine and your energy on them. Let somebody else start messing with them. But the question here is very simple. It's focus your intent on what you would like to see. On the paper I gave you, this book, you don't need to buy this book.
What's it say? I can't read it.
Psychography.
Okay, that's
Of psychic power through Fred Evans.
okay.
On the paper, the bottom of the paper, is the link to read the whole book. You can put that link in, the book will come up, you can download it, and you can read the whole book free of charge. The book is kind of out of print now, so you can buy one for like $300, but no sense of buying it when you can download it and just read it. And this is from Fred Evans, who actually was an extremely prolific slate writer in his day, because he had slates that were like awesome. And that's really what you want to get to. You want to get to a point that they're just really writing all kinds of stuff in the slates. You want spirit to write. You want spirit to talk, have phenomenon. So especially with the boxes, you might not get really large words unless you live at my house, and Marie every once in a while has fun and she goes in and opens my spirit box and writes, I love you, and I'll open the box and go, ah! It'll have a little cute little heart. I go, it's Marie. But you want spirit to write in it. You want them to write, and usually it's going to start a little small, little writing. You'll make out little words. You'll make out little words that spirit's trying to write, that they're trying to say. So they'll start off small, then they'll start off getting larger and larger and larger and larger. So you want to see what they're writing, because they're writing something. There's a reason. It takes them a while to write. Same thing as doing most of other things. It takes them a while to work with your energy to get what they need from you. Yeah.
But you're not asking a question. You're just asking them to communicate.
To communicate. First of all, you want them to communicate.
Yeah.
Because you might ask a question, they don't want to answer it. You might be waiting for a while because they might not want to answer that question. So you just want to communicate with them right now. Just have them write something, put something down. If you have somebody in the spirit world that you'd like to hear from, think about them. But don't ask them a specific question because they might not answer that specific question. You might be waiting for quite a while for them to answer that. But whether you're doing the slates, you're doing this, spirit cards you're doing, whatever you're doing, it's this asking them to produce on that situation, produce in the vibration. Because when you do that, the spirit will listen to you and they'll try to work with you. That's why you're grounded, feet on the floor, hands on top of it. You are putting energy through it. You can always take it like this too and go. See, it's what you feel most comfortable with. I have a friend of mine that does it like this. She does this. She does over her heart, and she'll sit there and hold it. It's what radiates to you. How do you feel more comfortable doing it? That's how it's going to work. And in this class, we are going to, in this class, I'm going to take you on meditations. You're going to sit with your box. You might get something, I don't know, but at least I'm going to teach you how to sit with it. How to try to manifest the vibration. Because as long as you can manifest, you can get all of this kind of put in motion. But if you want these, they don't sell the older ones. You can get newer ones. You can buy stuff online. You can go on eBay, find slates. Might not get the older ones, but you'll find slates. And they don't have these, but I found on eBay they have school slates. School slates that they used to use in the schoolroom. So that's what this is. This is an old school slate. And they have boxes that you, like my box I have, but they're really skinny and they have slates on both sides. And they're little boxes you can buy online that are older from like the early 1900s. So it's according to what you want to do with the slates. If you want to become one with the slates, see. But if you get one of the modalities you start working, then you can start focusing energy on other modalities. That's why I put the trumpet out there, the little trumpet out there, the bells. Those are spirit bells, they're ring. Trumpet belonged to Harry Houdini. It's one of his trumpets. So it's one of his test trumpets. So if Harry's here today, if he'd like to move it, we're not going to complain. If Harry would like to move it, we're not going to complain to Harry about him moving it. But
Eric Wise, Eric Houdini.
what?
Eric Wise, Eric Houdini. That's what his mother knew. Eric Wise.
But he used to carry that in his coat pocket, and when a medium said, "I can do trumpet," Harry would pull that out and set it in the middle of the table and say, "Go ahead, move it. Go ahead, move it." I got that from a museum in London. So the question is what you, it's all physical phenomena. It's what phenomena works for you. The states might work for you. But the boxes work because you're not really, you're setting them in your space. You can work with them or just set them in your space. If you walk in my office, there's one sits right next to where I read. I leave it there. I don't mess with it until I want to look at it, see if they're writing, but I leave it sitting in my space where I do readings. Then I have one in my cabinet. I have one in my cabinet. I keep this one in my cabinet. This stays in my cabinet with these slates inside the cabinet. So that's where I keep both of them, both in spiritual places. So the question is where in your house do you want to keep it, and place it there and keep it there. Energy of the room, energy of the space. If you put it in a spiritual space today and then tomorrow it's still in the spiritual space, it takes on more energy. Still day after day, spiritual space. More psychometry, more energy. If you keep scattering it and moving it every God knows where, then you're breaking the energy. Then it has to rebuild, has to reset, just like a spiritual circle. Has to reset. Has to reset. So as long as you keep it, like if you're going to carry it with you or take it to events, you have a bag, you put it in. You bring it home, you leave it in the bag, you set it back in its spiritual space. The bag and the thing, bag and the box, are in your spiritual space. So when you pick the bag up, you're bringing the spiritual space with you. Okay. And you take it with you and you set it wherever you're going to sit in your spiritual journey. That's all. It works that way. It just does.
So with the slate, I mean, if you want them to write on the slate, do you put the chalk somewhere where the slate is, or they just can write without chalk?
You have the chalk inside of it. There's chalk on. There's chalk here. See?
Yeah.
There's chalk. Pieces of chalk. It's inside of here.
Okay.
And then you just close it with the chalk inside of it.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay. I'll have to get one in the bookstore then.
Yeah. Because the ones in the bookstore have little pieces of chalk that's all colored chalk that's already with them. And you put the colored chalk in there, and they have a little bag. You put them. I don't quite care for the bags. I don't know who made the slates, God bless their hearts. But the bags are white, like a pale brown. If you're going to buy the slates, take them out of the bag, put them in a nice little black bag. Can't find a black bag? Get a black suitcase. Get a you get a black pillowcase. Place it in the black pillowcase. See, because it's white. White's not going to block the energy. So every time you put energy into, you'll lose the energy because these stay in a black bag when I have them at home. It's a black bag, so it's covered, it's like the cigar box. The inside is dark. It's dark, so you want it dark. You don't want it lit. You want it dark, so spirit can work. Ectoplasm is created because of a darkened space. Darkened space. That's what it's created. So if you create something in a darkened space, it's going to work with that. But if I have this with all the fluorescent lights and have it open like this, I might not get too much because the light's getting to it. The light's affecting it. But if I keep this closed, slip it into a black bag or black pillowcase, then the light can't get to it.
So if I put it in a black suit or a black pillowcase, and then I just slide it in my little briefcase, and I can set it there. That way, I can just take it.
Take it anywhere you want to go.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, because you want to be able to see. If I take this out, if I have this in my room and I set this, and I say, "Oh, I'm going to pick this up," I take it just like this, and I take it. Now I've taken it out of its space. See, but if I have it in a bag or something, like even with Gail Hicks, she used to carry a black bag, shopping bag. Had her spirit box in the shopping bag, and everywhere she went, that little bag would come with her. So if I go somewhere, I'm speaking, and I want to charge this energy, I'll have it in the bag that I have these two things in. I'll bring one of them with me and take it with me. Now I've taken the bag out of the room. I haven't taken this because this is still within the bag, within the energy. So
in the bag you have the slate, and you said two things: the slate and what else?
You got chalk.
The chalk.
Because chalk is inside the slates. Sits into the slates, and you just close the slates over. See, but this should be covered. As I just said, in the store they have white brownish bags that the slates are in. Doesn't really connect because white. You're looking for a darker, you're looking for a darker vibration. Keep it not in the dark, massively dark, but you want to try to keep it like a seance room. Seance room, you have dark with red light. You can't follow yourself with a red light, like you have to keep it kind of dark. So But that works. It sets the vibration. And the same thing with the box. The box is already dark inside, so you don't have to worry about that. The box is already dark inside once you close the lid. But once you take it out of the room, then you're in other vibration. You take it, you put it on the seat in your car. Well, who sat there before you sat it there? Who was in your car? See, but if you keep it in the bag you brought from the seance room, the bag will take on whatever energy that you set it next to, but the container won't. What you have into it will not, because that has not touched the outside, just the bag. So when you get home, all you have to do is clear the bag, put it back over in the corner. That's all. And it's through a loud noise. Don't think you got to make your house smell like you just smoked an ounce of pot. Saging the whole house. Just make a loud noise over the bag. Make a loud noise over the bag. I have a bell that'll ring. Just make a loud noise that dissipates the energy around it. That's all, it just dissipates it. You don't do all this crazy, weird little stuff and dancing with a sage stick. You don't do that. It's just make a loud noise. That's all you have to do to break the energy.
What's the purpose of that? What's the purpose of making the noise?
What you're doing is you're breaking the vibration of, like if you take the bag out of your room, if that box stays in your room, you never take it out of your spiritual space, you don't have to clear it. You don't have to clean it at all. It'll keep sucking up the energy that's in that room. But if you take it out of the room, you take it somewhere else, and then you bring it back, you should try to clear it, because you don't know what energy you picked up that you brought home with you. You don't need 25 spirits in your room going, ha ha, she brought us home. So you want just who you want in your room, not the spirits that have just thought they liked the box and they're going to go home with you. Their new home, like, oh, look at that fancy box. We're going home with them. So you want to make sure that you clear the energy, especially if you open the box and there's messages in there that you think are a little stupid. They're not really good. They're not something that you would want to read. Then you clear the energy. If you've attracted something in and around the vibration, spirits should be true. They should be writing vibration that you would personally understand, that you would personally accept. If the energy is not good, you'll look at it and go, oh, that's not good. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. If they do some kind of symbol in there and you go, ooh, that's not a good symbol. I don't like that. I don't like that. Then tell them. Have a conversation with them. Say, you have no purpose here. You have no business here. I am not giving you any permission to be here. I do not give you permission to be here. And they have to leave. Spirit can't just stay and say, oh, we don't care what you say. We're here. Talking some strange, spooky voice. They don't do that. No, they don't. They have to leave. Same thing with your house, your environment, your situations in your life. If you sit there in your house and you just sit in the center of your home and go, any spirits that are in this place and are not here for my highest and best, you do not have permission to reside here. You have to leave. Do not give them permission. Oh, there's just a cute spirit over in the corner. No. Don't give them permission to be here unless they're here for your highest and best. Don't attract them and think, because crazy spirit will attract more crazy.
Wouldn't one's gatekeeper take care of that? I mean, I never worried
No, your problem with that, your gatekeeper tries to get the gate, but if you allow people to jump over the gate, it doesn't really quite matter. See, I'll give you, for instance, when my wife started this work, she'd go, I'm open 24/7. Oh. I said, you need to quit. You need to stop that, because you're going to attract things that say, oh my God, you got a beautiful light. We're going to come follow you home, and boom, there they are. And they might not disrupt things right away, but then you'll see things coming off the wall, things in the house missing, things aren't moved around, things aren't quite the way they should be. That's when you tell them, I'm not here for my highest and best, and you need to leave. And you just have to tell them. Once you tell them, then the gatekeeper, the bouncer, all your guides will step up and usher them out of the room.
I always think it's great when things fly off the wall, like that big heavy glass jar that went up in the air and it landed and the water didn't spill. I always think that stuff is great. Because anything that's energy that moves, I always think it's great.
Oh my. Oh my.
I'm 78 years old. I haven't had any problems with it.
Well, the question is you're comfortable with it. As I said, if you're comfortable with what's going on in the house, then great. You might want the thing to fly, the things to move out of the room. He might sit in his room and go, what the hell is going on here? Ooh, no. And he's not really massively comfortable with it. See? But you are. See, that's for your highest and best. You're comfortable. But if you're not comfortable with it, then you need to tell them, say, you know, you have no business here. You're not here for my highest and best. I'm not comfortable with what you're doing. I'm not comfortable. You might want your buddy in spirit to come sit on the side of the bed and talk to you.
Oh, he does all the time.
See, but he wouldn't like that. He'd go, what the hell is this guy doing here tonight? We're not talking to you. See? But for you, I like him being here. See? It's for different vibrations. Because she might like her father. Her father's in spirit. She might love her father. But then he goes to somebody else's house, they might not like him so much. Being there in their house. See, you have to say you're not here for your highest and best. Especially if you do spiritual work. If you do the spiritual work and you work with spirit and you connect to spirit, then your light might be higher and more refined than the place that they have been residing. You walk in, they go, oh, look at that light. Woo-hoo. We're going to go home with them. And out to the car with you they go. All lingering up inside the car and heading home with you. Because they saw your energy. But I just tell my guys, highest and best and nothing else. Highest and best. If you come in my office, you will leave people. People do seances, people will leave people. People will leave people in the room. So you have to explain to them, you can't be here. You're not here for my highest and best. You're not here for me. You might like the energy in my house, but you're not here for me. That's what you have to tell yourself, especially if you're doing the work.
I remember when Joseph LaBruta, was here.
Yeah.
And he that medium from somewhere in the South, and he kept saying, don't let your boyfriend haunt me, don't let your boyfriend haunt me. He kept saying to me, because I saw him real clear.
Yeah, make sure that you're clear that he's not coming home. You're not coming home with me. You're not coming home with me. You're not coming here. See, if you give them permission, then they show up. Then they hang around for a while. They see where they're going to go. You have to give them permission to let them in. They just can't jump in. You have to give them permission to jump in. Permission. If you walked in this place or walk in any class and your first thought is outside on the porch, go, oh, I don't feel good. Or somebody yells at you, nothing is really quite working, but you're coming into the class anyway. Spirit's trying to stop you from coming in. They're trying to stop you from maneuvering into the vibration. Spirit will try to stop you and say, not good for you. It's not good for you in there. It's not, oh. So if you go in anyway, you go, the heck with all of you. I'm going in anyway. Well, then whatever's in the room that they were trying to keep you from now is part of you. You're going to take it home. So you have to listen to yourself. Listen to your vibration. When you're doing this, when you're doing the slates, you listen to yourself. What are you asking for? What are you looking for? What are you actually looking for? I'd like them to fill this whole thing with words. I like that. Be awesome. But I want them to write something. I'm looking for them to write something for my highest and best.
In English.
What?
English words.
English. Well, we got somebody German that wants to speak in German. I can translate.
Okay.
I can translate. So the question is you want them to write. Give you some kind of sign that they're listening to you, and then let them see what you get. And most of the time, it'll be like little marks. It'll look like words, And you'll have to look at it and go, oh, okay. And then you'll see words or different things appearing within the chalk. Like here, the chalk's way down here, but all the way up here now, there's marks of chalk already up here moving. So the question is, they're going to try to write something. Hopefully they write. But I want to see them write, and then you'll see little words. Like you'll look at it real close. You go, ooh, that's a word, and then you'll try to make it out. Once they start writing one word, then it gets a little bit larger, starts to get a little bit larger, so you can make it out more clear. They'll draw faces, different things, different situations. That's why slates work out extremely well, as long as you give it energy. Remember, it's the 8-week rule. You've got your boxes. You go home. Sit 5 minutes. Sit whatever time that you feel comfortable sitting. Put your energy into it. Set it aside. Next day, come and do it again for 8 weeks. When you did seances and had apparitions and seances, it was 8 weeks. People would come and sit at the same place, the same time for an 8-week period before other people were invited into the group to enter the group. The core group would sit for 8 weeks. You are the core group. You're sitting with your slates. Give it 8 weeks. You can look at it every day, but give it 8 weeks to manifest. Because if you start doing this like today, take a picture of yourself sitting with your slates. Then give it about 3 weeks. Take another picture. You're going to see orbs, lights, all kinds of things around you because you are focused in the energy. 8 weeks, focus.
Do you do this every day or once
Every day for
every
8
day?
weeks.
And in the same place?
Same place works really well. It works really well, but 8 weeks. And if you can't do it, let's say today, you were supposed to do it tonight at 7, but you got busy, you can't do it. Just acknowledge, I can't be here tonight. Something's come up. I'll see you tomorrow, but I can't be here tonight. I'll just acknowledge that you know that they were supposed to be there. Acknowledge. Because if you don't acknowledge them, they might not show up tomorrow. It's like keeping an appointment. If you don't show up, you keep not showing up, then they won't show up. You have to make an appointment with them to get them to really speak to you. I sit every night at the same time, every single time. The only time I didn't sit was when I was in the service, and I had to be, I could be sitting watching a slate or something while I was trying to save my life. So it wasn't feasible at that time. So I would just tell them, you know where I am. Can't do it right now.
I have a broom closet I'm using as a cabinet, and so would it be good to go in there and do
Oh, yeah. So I said, if you're sitting in this room and you're meditating, your energy has to fill the whole room. The broom closet, a small space. You go on there, you meditate. You only have to fill that small space. You don't have to fill all of this, just the small space. In Castaneda, that's kind of hard. The closets, we don't have closets. We have hangers, no closets.
Is that why they have that in the hotel across the street, that telephone booth looking thing?
Well, that's kind of cool.
That's the meditation thing.
Yeah, that's a smaller space. You don't have to fill everything, but you don't have to fill the whole space, just that small space.
They have a curtain there. Does it need to be a door closing that space, or can it be a curtain?
It can be a curtain. You can go in the center of the room, put a curtain across the corner of the room, and put the chair behind the curtain. Or do what friends of mine do. They have hula hoops.
Oh, that's great.
And they get darker fabric. They put around the whole hula hoop, hook it up, set a chair in the hula hoop, and then the curtains have got you covered in that small space. You go in there and sit.
But then you gotta put something on top.
If you're closer to the top, it's not. You're only in that small space. You're smaller space to meditate in. So you're looking for a smaller space. What you're doing.
And is it better to be in the dark, maybe with the red light?
better to be in the dark because you know what you're doing. Red lights are mostly to see phenomena. Red lights are usually for people. So if I'm having a seance, I'm not going to have it in pitch black darkness because you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's happening. It's too dark. You can't even see your hands in front of you. So it's too dark. The red light actually, the only reason the red light passively is so that people can see what's going on in the room. If I'm doing the seance and he's my partner in crime, he's my partner in crime here, it's okay. So I'm sitting here, all of a sudden he's up, he's moving, he's doing stuff. I'm still sitting here, but he's my partner in crime. But if the red light's on, you'll see him moving. You'll see him moving around the room. But in the pitch black darkness, you won't, because he's moving around the room doing stuff. That's why the red light. So you can get a glimpse of what's going on in the room. And red lights don't dissipate the ectoplasm in the room. That's the only reason it does. It doesn't dissipate the ectoplasm in the room. Because you want ectoplasm. You want the clouds in the room. You want ectoplasm. That's what creates the phenomenon. Like the slates will have like a cloud around them, like ectoplasm. The Spirit's working on this. So ectoplasm and the vibration. So that's what you're looking for is ectoplasm. So that's why you're doing it pretty much in the dark, because you don't want to dissipate. You want to have light in the energy. You have a red light. That's what you need to see what's going on in the space. But if you're just sitting in the dark, that's fine, because you're the one doing it. You don't have somebody else in the room trying to do something. If she had the slates in her hand, and then she was sitting over there, and no red lights were on, and somebody come running over writing in her book, that's not going to give her any benefit, because she.
I know this seems kind of detailed question, but I know it's closed in this way, but not closed in on top, because there doesn't need to be nothing on top of the hula hoops.
No, don't need to be nothing on top. You could put something on top. Doesn't need to be something on top.
Okay.
Doesn't need to have anything on top of the hula hoop.
Okay.
Doesn't have anything on it. It's just the space that you're meditating in. Just the space that you're meditating in. So when I do this work, I'll sit, but I have blindfolds. I have blindfolds that I put on. I have a blindfold I put on. That takes my senses of sight away from me. I put a blindfold on. So no matter what happens in that space that I'm working in, I have to use my third eye. I have to use this. I can't see it. I'm not reaching out to touch it. So I have to use my third eye. So I know that blindfolds work very well when you're trying to do spiritual work. Just blindfold yourself. Then you're not seeing anything, it's black. You have to use your third eye to see. You have to. You have to use your third eye. So it works. But most of this is just trying to figure this out. What works for you? You might say, well, Louis, that doesn't work for me. I'm going to set it over here and I'm going to hold it like this. That's what I'm going to do. There's no wrong way to hold this. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. Same thing with your cigar box. Doesn't mean that you have to sit there and hold it like this. You can hold it like this. You can do whatever you want with it. You can hold it like this. You can do whatever you want to do with it. But it's how you feel most comfortable holding it. Not because I'm telling you, oh my God, this is the only way to hold it. Don't do any other way. This is it. This is God's truth. Here it is. No, it's whatever works for you. How the energy works for you. Because I have a lady that sits there and she sits it on the floor, puts a blanket over it, puts her feet on it, and meditates. So she grounds it to the floor, puts her feet on it, and she meditates. So she says she's pulling energy up from Mother Earth into the root chakra and shoving the energy down from the crown chakra down into the box. That's what she's visualizing. I said, if it works for you, that works for you.
Is red light the only light that doesn't dissipate the ectoplasm? I mean, what does green
You have
light
green
do?
light. Green light is, they have new studies in green light. Green light's supposed to do things in the seance room, but I haven't found that that makes any difference at all with the green light.
But red light
Red light
does not dissipate the
Does
ectoplasm,
dissipate
right?
the ectoplasm in the room. It doesn't dissipate the ectoplasm. Because really, with phenomena work, you want ectoplasm. You want ectoplasm and the vibration.
I was reading, Herod Carrington, like, he writes a book 1,000 pages, but 900 is about the fraudulent stuff they used to do, and only 100 pages is about actual physical mediumship. But he says that before you see manifest a figure or something like that, you see like green and purple little dots and stuff.
You'll
like
see
that.
spirit lights. You'll see spirit lights in a room, like white lights. You'll see spirit lights in a room. Same thing if you're touching this and you're in the darkness, you're touching this and you see little spirit lights all over this space. I mean, Spirit's working with this. You'll see little lights all over this. You'll see speckles of lights. You'll see it. When I did my transfiguration last night in my class, on Friday night, there was speckled all over people's faces, where Spirit was trying to build faces on people. So the question is Spirit will work, and you just have to put the energy into it. That's all.
So, Lou, so by sitting in the same spot, this might be kind of a stupid question, but I'm going to ask. But by staying in the same spot each time, are you creating like a portal or a vortex or something that makes it easier for Spirit to come through to that spot?
Oh, yeah.
To where it's like, that's the spot, it's easiest to get to her from there, where I'm sitting. Because the more times I sit there, the more I strengthen that portal or vortex or whatever Spirit to come through. Is that correct? Or not?
That's what see, when you sit, like today, when you guys are sitting, where you're sitting today, you're going to leave energy. Once you leave, some of your energy will be left in that space. So tomorrow, if you came back and sat in the exact same space again, you're just going to reinforce the energy that you left there the day before. And so on and so on and so on, until eventually you'll sit in the space and go, oh, I'm good here. When I do seances at my home, you come to my seance and you're going to be there for the 8-week period, I will write your name at the bottom of the chair. So the next time we have the seance, you will sit in the exact same chair you sat in the week before. I won't have you sit in somebody else's chair. You will sit in the exact same chair. So you build the energy in that space. Same space in the room, same chair in that space. So it reinforces the circle, the chain. And the more times we meet, the stronger the chain becomes. The stronger the spiritual energy in the space becomes. That works. Sometimes you get stuff right away. Sometimes stuff just happens. But not all the time, because it takes work. My mother spent almost 2 years before they got the trumpet to float in the room. 2 years of everybody making that event to sit every single week at the same time for 2 years. Before that trumpet came up and moved through the room. But they made that effort to sit every week. So you have to sit. You have to make that energy sit in that space. You have to.
We have so we're sharing a room right now to build our power. We each have our own chair, but should we be in separate rooms?
Should we not sit at the same time?
As long as you're still in the same chair. Just as long as you're still in different chairs.
Same room, but different chairs.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Unless your energy's completely nuts and her energy's completely nuts and you're fighting each other. Other than that, we're good.
I think we're okay there.
As long as you're good with that energy, you're fine, see? They're fine with that energy because it's just the space. Like if she was having a bad day, she was sitting in her space, she left. You went to go sit in her place to go meditate, but now you're sitting right in her energy. She has a few bad days.
So if we have our cabinet, we could just put our chair inside the
Yeah.
cabinet. We could use the same
Can we
cabinet.
take turns in the cabinet?
Well, yeah.
With our own chair.
It won't
Yeah.
matter.
Just, cause I tell people, it's like, you want to do table tipping, get a folding TV stand at Walmart. Get a little wood stand, practice table tipping. Get a fold-up wood chair, a little fold-up wood chair, that's all. Fold-up wood chair. Place in the corner. When you're not using, just fold it up, put it away, so nobody else sits in it. And then you just bring it out and set it up again. Your chair. Wood chairs work the best. Do whatever you need to do. Plastic chairs, other type of chairs, wood chairs work the best. Upholstery chairs work good. Metal chairs, different things like these. These would not work good in a seance room.
So it's the chair itself, the energy is attached to. It's not necessarily the spot that the chair is in.
No, not actually the spot. It's the
Which
chair.
you're in contact with.
It's the chair that you're sitting in and the time that you sit. Not really the space. If you could put the chair in your car and take it out in the woods and set up the chair and meditate there, it's just the time. If you're meditating by Spirit Pond at 8 o'clock at night with your little wood chair, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, you're down by Spirit Pond with your chair meditating at Spirit Pond. It's just the time and the chair, not really the space. We're looking for the time and what you're sitting in, where you're sitting. What are you doing with where you're sitting? That's all. What it is.
I think the broom closets, I mean, what I have set up, I just got a place in D-Land in the Oaks, and there was a broom closet, and I just put a wooden chair in it, and I put my magic stuff up on the shelf and close the door, and I leave the chair in there, and it works great.
We're talking broom closet,
Yeah.
magic stuff on the shelf. Sounds suspicious to me.
And the wooden chair.
I think I went over a little bit like magic stuff on the shelf, broom closet.
When I was looking for a place to live, and I would see these broom closets, and I would say, oh, medium must have lived in this place. And then I finally realized, when I got out to the Oaks, I said, no, it couldn't be a medium lived here. And I suddenly realized the broom closets, but you can use them as a cabinet.
It's like bathrooms work really well if you sit in there and you meditate, because they're usually darkened places. But when you're sitting, you actually have the large bathroom mirror. So you're actually meditating and scrying into the mirror. And Spirit will walk through the mirror. They'll walk. And your face will transfigure. Your face will transfigure. So it works good there, but the question is that if you have a smaller bathroom and you only have one bathroom in the house and other people want to use the bathroom, it's kind of tough. No. But it works good every once in a while just to sit in front of a mirror and just look. It does. It works really well. So, but we're going to meditate here in a minute. We're going to meditate. I'll turn this up.